Okay. We've done jerk pork belly before. We've done jerk pork in the oven outside on the barbecue. Do we really need another jerk pork belly recipe? What's up, soldiers? Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. And yes, we do. You will see differences in this recipe compared to the other ones I've shared before. So this is a must-watch recipe, in my humble opinion, when it comes to making the perfect, I'm not going to say ultimate, but the perfect jerk pork belly. And besides the fact that when I tease this recipe on Instagram, if you're not following me yet on Instagram, it is at Caribbean Pot. When I teased it on Instagram, there were a lot of people asking for the recipe. So beyond the fact that it is a highly requested recipe, there are two other reasons why I really wanted to share this recipe with you all today. Now, it won't show up on CaribbeanPot.com because I'm just going to keep it right here on the channel. You know, most of my recipes end up on CaribbeanPot.com, the printable recipe. And the reason why it won't show up on CaribbeanPot.com, and one of the two reasons why I want to share this with you, is the simplicity of it all. I have here store-bought jerk marinade. Just grab your favorite jerk marinade, add a tablespoon and a half of olive oil, as you saw me do, and that is it. I've got my pork belly over here, and you want something skin on. That's going to help it keep its shape. Nice. Look at the fat to meat ratio. Really beautiful piece of pork belly here. And I'm doing it flesh side up or skin side down, just for display purposes at this point, because it's no big deal at this point. All we're doing is seasoning it with that jerk marinade. Now, if you wanted to make your own jerk marinade, I have several recipes on CaribbeanPot.com showing you how to do that. But the whole idea here is to make this simple. We're going to paste that on there, right? And we're going to rub that on. And we're going to go all on the sides and everything, but you want to rub that on. Now, the only reason why I'm using the sheet pan, one, for you to see it easier. Later on, well, that's the only reason. Display purposes. Give the boy a drink. Like, he need a drink, but he over talking and all kind of, hey, burn some hood, what do you call it? Anyhow, it's gonna go into a Ziploc bag, because this is very important for this to marinate overnight. I'm gonna flip it over. You know what? Here we go. Why not? Let Uncle Chris show you how dirty heaters get. Right. All on the sides and everything, yeah? And this is about 3 pounds of pork belly I got here. We're gonna scrape that on. Now, be mindful, ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing what I am doing here with my bare hands, jerk marinade can be very spicy. There's supposed to be Scotch bonnet peppers in here. So, be mindful of that. If your hand a little sensitive, you will pay the price at some point. And second of all, wash your hands immediately after with soap and water. And that is it. I told you guys, simple. Very simple. This is the marinade, this is salt, this is pepper, there's everything in here, because that jerk marinade will have all that niceness in there. All we're going to do now is put that into a Ziploc bag, into the fridge, and let that marinate overnight. It is very important that we get that to marinate overnight. So there we go. I transferred it into a zipper bag. I will put a plate under, because in case, this is from the dollar store. This bag will have the tendency to leak, and I ain't trying to clean up that fridge later on. Two things. One, you don't have to concentrate too much on the skin, as long as you go heavy with that marinade on the flesh part, because to really penetrate that skin there, that thing ain't doing nothing unless you want to poke some holes. But I ain't too worried about that. And two, remember we spoke earlier there about the two reasons for doing this? The simplicity. We have a piece of pork belly, which I washed with the juice of a lemon and some cool water I patted dry. Then all we did was some store-bought jerk marinade, Very simple. Boom. Simplicity right there. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a bit more about technique. But for now, simplicity is done. Tomorrow, technique. You're going to love the technique, man. Anyhow, into the fridge, yeah, overnight. And we'll get back to it tomorrow morning. So it's the next morning, and what I did was, I'm about to put it onto the grill, but I took it out of the fridge about an hour ago just to bring it up to room temperature. I don't want cold pork belly going onto the grill, so I'm just going to take this out of the bag directly onto the grill at this point. But it is very important, and that is part of the technique that we spoke about. Take it out of the fridge in advance so that it'll come up to sort of room temperature. I'm using my Traeger, and I have it set to 225, which is the sort of super smoke setting. Skin side up, top rack to the more forward than anything else. I don't want to push it too far back, because once that lid comes down, it's going to be directly in the center of the grill, the upper grill. We want that to go for 225 degrees now on that smoke setting. Now, if you're using a traditional smoker, I'm just going to close this. Don't want to lose my heat. If you're using a traditional smoker, you just want to maintain that 225. And I am burning, I like fruity wood for when I'm doing this. And this is all part of the technique. So that is apple wood. If I had cherry, if I had some more cherry, if I had plum, those things would work great as well. But for today, we're using apple wood. 225, and we're going to let that go for a couple hours. It's been 2 hours, so I've achieved the smoke part of things. It's exactly where I want it to be at this point. I'm going to remove it now. We're going to wrap it in butcher's paper, and right now I'm going to crank up my heat to 300 degrees now. So now we're gonna put that back onto the grill, wrapped in that paper. And if you've ever seen anyone do brisket, I'm kind of treating it the same sort of way. And this is all about the technique. Now, skin side up, because the logic behind it is as it renders, that fat will go down into the meat and keep it nice and moist. You notice there's no apple juice, there's nothing. Just that logic behind the skin side up, fat rendering down. Close the lid and let that go. It's been going now for about 3 hours. And I've got some chicken on the bottom down there going as well. I'm trying to make use of the heat source. So we got some jerk chicken down there, and that pork is still going. I'm going to take that chicken off, and we're going to continue cooking that pork. And I don't know if you guys heard the noise, but this guy is back here with me. Polly, say hello to the people. Say hello to the people. No? He's learning to grill. Yeah. I'm going to try my best not to make a mess here, but it's been 4 hours since we wrapped it in this butcher paper. And notice all that fat that's rendered. And that is exactly what we want. I just pulled it off there. And we're going to take a peek inside. I'm trying not to make too much of a mess in the kitchen. But lo and behold, just look at that sweet old piece of pork. Oh boy. I'm gonna allow it to rest. We gotta allow that to rest. Let's do it justice. Let's give it the love it needs. So we're gonna allow it to rest. I'm gonna take it out of here. I'm gonna put it directly in the pan, and I'm gonna put some foil over it. I'm gonna allow it to rest. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, then Butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irene? Irene. Gotta love that beauty, man. Zoom in, show you guys what we're working with. We're just gonna switch it over now onto the cutting board. Grab this, put it on here. And personally, I like slicing it into nice, thin slices. You need a sharp knife. And the skin will be a bit rubbery. But that's okay. If you know anything about good jerk pork, you will know it's not supposed to be crispy. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. And now you know why I opted to show you guys another jerk pork recipe. This time we did jerk pork belly. And just look at that niceness there. Nice and juicy, and just look at the oils. You gotta make this one, man. We did the simplicity and the technique. Always a pleasure, yeah?